SummerSlam 2024 was a banger of a show. Everything from a fantastic opening match with a savage ending, to 4 newly crowned champions, to the long-awaited return of the original tribal chief, Roman Reigns. Some are already calling it the greatest SummerSlam there ever was, but for me, I don't personally think it's the best one, but it's certainly the best SummerSlam I've ever seen live. There was no wrong winner for every match that took place, and comparing it to last year, the matches just flowed better, there was a bigger fight feel for every match, and one important aspect to every show either being lackluster or fantastic is the crowd. Cleveland showed up for SummerSlam compared to Detroit last year. The night started off with Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley, and their match at the beginning was a game of cat and mouse, with Liv trying to get into Rhea's head until Rhea got the better of her, and from there it was all business. This was Rhea's first match back from injury, and she didn't miss a single step. She made Liv look like $1 million with excellent selling on her part. The real drama didn't come until the end though, when Dominic tried to stop Rhea from hitting Liv with a chair. And we all thought this was the first sign of him betraying her, and we all ended up being correct, as a little bit later Dominic distracted the ref and costed Rhea the victory. But the true savage moment came when Dominic helped Liv up from the ground and kissed her right in front of Rhea's face. This was an excellent way to start SummerSlam off because it was the anticipated return of Rhea Ripley and gave the already red hot crowd a huge dramatic moment to kick off the night. I've always found it hilarious how Rhea is considered the babyface in this story, considering how Dominic was basically her slave the last 2 years. But that's just a testament of how good of a heel Dom is and how over Rhea is as a babyface. The second match of the night was Braun Breaker versus Sami Zayn, and unfortunately this wasn't as long as what some people wanted. But quite frankly, I believe it did exactly what it needed to do, and it showed how dominant Braun Breaker truly is, defeating a veteran in Sami Zayn who already had a great title reign. Braun is already a champion, only being on the main roster for a very short amount of time. For all the fans who said that he was buried by getting defeated at Money in the Bank, he silenced them all, and he's undoubtedly about to go on a dominant run as champion. As for Sami Zayn, I believe there's maybe room for one rematch with Braun, but I think he's about to go and do bigger and better things, by possibly incorporating himself with Roman's return and reforming the original bloodline. I do think that him and Jey Uso could be in a tag team on Raw for a short amount of time, and then somehow get involved with Roman once again. Logan Paul versus LA Knight was another match that fully delivered, and honestly there isn't really much for me to say about it. It was a feel-good moment for LA Knight and something that definitely felt like a long time coming, with him finally winning a championship on the main roster. SmackDown will finally have a proper mid-card title for superstars to fight for, and it'll help guys like Andrade and Carmelo Hayes have some purpose. Nia versus Bayley was probably the weakest out of the entire night, and it's unfortunate Bayley's title reign already came to an end from a lackluster title reign. But Nia admittedly did deserve this win, as ever since she's come back, she's proved a lot of people wrong, and is on the best run of her career. And this also sets up a really fun dynamic between her and Miss Money in the Bank, Tiffany Stratton. Now, a lot of people are criticizing CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre, and I don't personally understand why. I thought what they did was amazing storytelling, and sure, it maybe wasn't the bloodbath we all thought it would be with how personal this rivalry was, but we have the Bad Blood Premium live event coming up, and I think it's safe to say we'll be getting a Hell in a Cell match between Punk and Drew. And that's certainly where we will get what we all expected from their SummerSlam match. I thought Punk's performance was great coming back from injury, and this match was heavily storyline based, which I think suits CM Punk the best at this stage of his career, where he is a little bit more limited than he was 10 to 15 years ago. The match delivered for me, and I think Drew winning was the best decision for match number 1. Damian Priest versus Gunther was a hard-hitting classic of a match, and I think it was by far Damian's best match as World Heavyweight Champion. To me, this match solidified Damian as a credible champion, and it ended the exact same way Liv versus Rhea ended, with a betrayal from another Judgment Day member, Finn Balor. This left so many questions about what the state of the Judgment Day is going to be. It's obvious this will lead to Finn versus Damian in a grudge match, probably at Bad Blood also. If they wanted to bring back the First Blood match, I think this would be a good option for both of them. Then as for Gunther, this also felt like a much deserved moment for him, and he's already solidified himself as a future Hall of Famer in my eyes. He's about to go on a dominant run as World Heavyweight Champion, and there are plenty of opponents lined up for him as challengers. I think John Cena by next year is an obvious huge match everyone wants to see. Then of course there's Ilya Dragunov because of their history in NXT, and because of how Ilya is one of the few guys who beat Gunther clean. There's also Seth Rollins, who would be another big money match for him. Then of course there's Sheamus, who I don't think there's many of us who's sick of seeing those two face each other. But lastly on the SummerSlam card, Cody Rhodes vs Solo Sikoa was a good enough main event, and it undoubtedly was Solo's first huge test to see how he could hang in the main event of one of the biggest shows of the year. And I think he did an admirable job, but if I'm honest, the only reason it main evented was because it set up the obvious return of Roman Reigns. Roman came back and got revenge on Solo for everything he did these last few months, and he helped Cody retain the WWE Championship. But towards the end, if you saw carefully, Roman mouthed to Cody, "It's only a matter of time." That obviously teases match number 3 between Roman and Cody, and it confirms that he didn't help Cody for him, but that he did it to handle family business first. Roman is going to take care of his own personal business first before challenging Cody for the belt. Now, we didn't see any appearance from both Jey Uso or Jimmy Uso, which to me makes perfect sense. Roman still has to gather those two up to make amends and forgive each other before they eventually reunite. But I'm personally excited to see how this is going to play out and to see how Roman will get forgiveness from Jey Uso and possibly even Sami Zayn. I also wonder how many dates Roman is going to work in the second half of 2024. Because the singles match between Roman and Solo is pretty cut and clear, but one huge match I know they're going to build up eventually is Roman versus Jacob Fatu. As for Cody, I think the next rivalry he'll jump into, once he fully takes care of the bloodline, is Randy Orton. WWE has been teasing Randy staring at the belt numerous times, with the clear foreshadowing of when the belt was in between Randy and Cody. SmackDown may finally be getting back on track, with the Bloodline storyline getting red hot with Roman's return, and then with LA Knight as United States Champion, being able to defend it here and there on the show, and then finally with Randy and Cody having a feud that everyone wants to see. WWE is going to get even bigger in the next few months. But anyways guys, that's it for the video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to leave a like and hit subscribe. Thanks and take care.